Imagine a farm. A pretty normal, maybe slightly rundown farm somewhere in the English countryside.
Hmm.
The animals are they're miserable, cold, hungry, and the farmer, Mr. Jones, well, he's a drunk who forgets to feed them half the time.
Right.
So one night they just snap, they kick the humans out, lock the gate, and decide to run the place themselves.
And it sounds like the beginning of a kid's movie, doesn't it?
Totally. You expect some catchy songs, a talking pig, maybe a happy ending where they all learn about teamwork.
It definitely has that Saturday morning cartoon vibe on the surface. But as we got into the material for today, it became very clear, very fast, that the charm is, well, it's a trap.
It's a trap, absolutely. Today we're doing a deep dive into the audiobook of Animal Farm by George Orwell. And I have to say, if you think you know this story because you, skimmed it in high school,
Oh, you're in for a shock.
you are! This isn't a fairy tale with talking horses. This is a masterclass in how a free society slides into a dictatorship.
And we're looking at why the audiobook format, specifically hearing the voices, the propaganda, the silences, makes that slide feel terrifyingly real.
That's it. It's one thing to read about manipulation.
It's another thing entirely to have it whispered in your ear.
That's the big takeaway from our source material. This is not a story about animals. It's a story about power. How you get it, how you keep it, and how you abuse it.
And the scariest part, it doesn't happen with a big explosion. It happens with a whisper.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack that mechanism. We want to see how a dream of utopia becomes a nightmare step by step.
And why listening to it happen might be the most effective way to understand the warning Orwell was trying to give us.
Okay, so let's set the scene properly. The rebellion happens, Jones is gone, the animals they're ecstatic. And honestly, in those first chapters, I was really rooting for them.
Of course. They have this beautiful dream. They write the 7 commandments on the barn wall.
And the 7 commandments, they're the constitution of this new society.
And the most important one, the one that anchors everything, is all animals are equal.
It's the perfect slogan. Simple, fair, catchy. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. You can't argue with it.
But this is where things get interesting. Or maybe a better word is suspicious.
The source material we reviewed points to one specific moment right at the beginning. The cows have just been milked. There are these buckets of fresh, frothy milk just sitting there.
Right. And all the animals are hungry. And Napoleon, this big Berkshire boar who sort of naturally steps up as a leader, he stands in front of the buckets.
But he doesn't say, "This is mine."
No, he says something like, "Never mind the milk, comrades. That will be attended to. The harvest is more important."
And when they come back from the harvest,
The milk is gone.
and that is the first crack in the dam. It's such a small thing, just some milk.
But it sets a precedent. The leadership, the pigs, are already taking the best resources for themselves. Secretly.
And this is where that whole descent begins. It isn't sudden. It's not like the next day there are guard towers.
No, it's slow. It's seductive even. The source material points out that the real tragedy is that the other animals trust the pigs. Why? Because the pigs are the smartest.
Which is a really dangerous metric for leadership.
It is.
Yeah.
And the pigs use that intelligence to weaponize fear. But before we get to the fear, we have to talk about the puppies.
Oh man, the puppies. That part always creeps me out.
It should. It's the moment the state creates its muscle. Napoleon takes these puppies from their mothers, says he's going to educate them.
And then they just disappear.
Yeah.
For months. The other animals kind of forget about them.
Until they come back.
Yeah.
And they are not cute puppies anymore.
No, they're these huge, snarling dogs wearing brass-studded collars. They're Napoleon's enforcers.
Exactly. This is the shift from soft power speeches and influence to hard power. Our source material notes this mirrors the rise of secret police forces like the NKVD in Stalinist Russia.
But even if you don't know the history, the story impact is chilling. You realize, okay, the debate is over now because one side has
So you have the muscle. But you can't just rule by force. You need people to agree with you, or at least be too confused to disagree.
Right, you need to mess with their heads. And this brings us to what the source calls the mechanism of corruption.
This is the core theme. Power corrupts. But the analysis goes deeper than that slogan. It's about how the corruption is justified.
So the pigs start breaking the rules. They start sleeping in the farmhouse beds.
Which was explicitly forbidden. Commandment number 4, no animal shall sleep in a bed.
But then something weird happens. The animals go check the barn wall, and the commandment it looks different.
Now it says no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets.
That little addition with sheets is just, it's so brilliant and so slimy.
And the animals are just confused. They think, huh, did I remember it wrong? Maybe I'm just stupid.
That confusion is manufactured. That's the goal. If you can make people doubt their own memory, you can rewrite reality.
And the pigs justify it. They say, well, a pile of straw is a bed, isn't it? The rule was against sheets because sheets are a human invention.
It sounds so logical if you don't think about it too hard. And that brings us to the absolute master of this technique.
We have to talk about Squealer.
Squealer. The small, fat pig with twinkling eyes and this shrill voice.
In the allegory, he's the propaganda machine. He's state media, the spin doctor, the press secretary, telling you the economy is great while you're starving.
And listening to him in the audiobook must be just wild. The book says he skips from side to side while he argues. He's frantic.
The audio format is perfect for him. A good narrator gives Squealer this fast-talking, high-pitched, almost hypnotic quality.
Yeah.
He just bombards you with statistics and jargon so fast you can't even process it.
Like with the apples, when the animals find out the pigs are taking all the milk in the apples.
Right. Squealer explains it away with science.
Yeah, he says, "Comrades, you don't imagine we're doing this out of selfishness, do you? Many of us actually dislike milk and apples.
We only take them to preserve our health. Milk and apples contain substances absolutely necessary for a pig. We are brain workers."
And then he drops the hammer, the real threat.
He says, do you know what would happen if we pigs failed in our duty? Jones would come back.
And that's the closer. Jones would come back.
Yeah.
It just shuts down all argument.
He frames their greed as a noble sacrifice they're making for everyone else. It is pure gaslighting.
I'm eating these delicious apples for you. It's incredible. And the source material says listening to this is way more unsettling than just reading it. Why do you think that is?
Well, when you read, you have distance.
Hmm.
You can pause, you can reread, you can pick apart the logic.
Okay.
But audio is linear. It just keeps coming at you. When you hear Squealer's voice, you hear the confidence, the mock sincerity. You're put in the position of the other animals. You're being overwhelmed.
That makes sense. You feel the pressure to just nod along because you don't want to look stupid, and you definitely don't want Jones to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But while Squealer is the brain of the operation, the heart of the farm, and the part that always just breaks my heart is Boxer.
The tragedy of Boxer. He is the emotional center of this entire story. Boxer is the cart horse. He's huge, he's strong, and he is deeply, deeply good.
He's the one who built the windmill. I mean, literally. When everyone else was tired, Boxer was up an hour early, hauling stone.
And he has those two mantras.
I will work harder.
And Napoleon is always right.
And those mantras are his doom. He represents the working class, the loyalists who truly believe in the revolution.
He thinks if he just gives enough of himself, that utopia will come true. His tragedy isn't weakness. It's his blind, unquestioning loyalty.
He trusts that the leaders love him as much as he loves the farm.
And they don't.
And the audiobook. Oh man, the review we read said the narration for Boxer is just devastating. You can hear the exhaustion in his voice as the years pass. He gets older, his hoof splits, but he keeps working.
Until the day he collapses.
Yeah.
This is the scene that, for me, turns the book from a political satire into an actual horror story. Boxer falls. The pigs say, don't worry, we're sending him to the best vet in town.
But when the van comes to pick him up, Benjamin the donkey, the cynic, the one who never believed any of it, he's the one who can read.
And in the audiobook, hearing his voice switch from that usual grumpy monotone to just sheer panic is visceral.
What does it say?
He reads it out. Alfred Simmons, horse slaughterer and glue boiler.
Oh.
They're not sending Boxer to a vet. They sold him to the knacker's yard to buy whiskey.
That scene just kills me every time. The animals are like, get out, Boxer, get out. And you hear the thumping of his hooves against the van.
He's trying to kick his way out, but he's too weak because he gave all his strength to the farm.
And then the sound just fades away. He's gone.
And Squealer comes back later and gives this whole speech. Oh, it was a terrible misunderstanding. The vet bought the van from the glue maker, hadn't had time to paint over the name yet. Boxer died in luxury, praising Napoleon with his last breath.
And they believe him.
Yeah.
Or they want to believe him.
They have to. The alternative, that their hero was sold for booze money, is just too dark to even consider.
And that really gets at how the truth just becomes whatever the person with the loudest voice says it is.
Precisely. And that brings us to the pacing of the audiobook itself. The source material notes that because Animal Farm is short, maybe 3 or 4 hours. You can listen to it in one intense session.
Which is how it should be experienced, I think. If you spread it out over a couple of weeks, you might lose the sense of the noose slowly tightening.
But in one sitting, it's relentless. You feel the seasons change, the rations get smaller, you hear the songs change.
They start with Beasts of England, this amazing anthem of freedom. The narrator usually gives it this really rough, hopeful energy.
But then Napoleon bans it. He replaces it with his short, dreary, obedient song praising himself.
And hearing that musical shift from a folk anthem to a hymn of worship, it signals the death of the dream better than any paragraph of text ever could.
It's totally immersive. You're trapped on the farm with them. And then you get to the end.
The pigs are walking on two legs. They're wearing Mr. Jones's clothes. They're drinking alcohol. And that famous maxim on the wall has changed one last time.
All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
It's the perfect sentence, isn't it? It means absolutely nothing and absolutely everything all at once.
It's the final betrayal. The pigs have become the humans. The revolution didn't fail, it was completely hijacked.
And the source emphasizes that this simplicity, no complicated theory, just pigs becoming men, is why the story is so universal.
It forces you to look at the world around you. This isn't just a history lesson about 1917 Russia. It's a pattern detection kit for today.
It asks you, the listener, where do you see this happening now? Maybe not in a whole country, but in a company, a club.
Where is language being twisted? Where are the squealers explaining why the rules don't apply to the people in charge?
And where are the boxers, working themselves to death for a reward that's never, ever coming?
That's the uncomfortable question, right? Are we boxer? Are we suspending our critical thinking because we just want to believe that everything is fine?
That's a heavy thought. But it's why this audiobook got a 5 out of 5 in the material we looked at. It's not just a story, it's a warning siren.
It absolutely is. It reminds us that freedom isn't lost in one single dramatic moment. It's lost in all the quiet moments when we choose to look away.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with the retention closing line from our source. It really sums up the whole mechanism we've been talking about.
It's a simple but really profound observation.
Revolutions don't fail overnight. They fail one small compromise at a time.
One small compromise. Maybe it's the milk today, the apples tomorrow.
And before you know it, you're in the blue truck. Keep your eyes open, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Stay safe out there.